worried
My
about
job
that.
isn't to have people give a shit. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. And if they do, that's awesome. That's fucking amazing. I mean, anyone who listens to this record is crazy. So right. So like, but I think it's really good to look at, right? Because I have a lot of friends who fear this too. We look at this record, like not a lot of people are listening to this record that is put out. I worked super hard on it. So I could choose to be like, fuck, this was a failure. Bringin It Backwards. What's up, bro?
What's up, Eli? How are you, man?
See you, dude.
We chatted about a year ago. I don't know if you remember.
I remember we chatted. Was that a year ago?
Yeah, I think it was almost a year ago now. It was in May.
Wow.
And you were making eggs. Do you remember that?
I was making eggs?
Yeah, you were making eggs.
Are you in New Jersey? I forgot.
No, I'm in Nashville now, but when I talked to you last time, I was in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. Okay.
Yeah, I moved to Nashville or maybe I was in Nashville. I can't remember. But yeah, because I talked to you and Micah, and we were talking about the $1 Million Smoothie and when all that was coming out with Courtship.
Oh, yes, the smoothie.
Yeah. So how you been?
I'm good, dude. I love Nashville.
It's great.
I miss Nashville.
I love it here. It was the best move we ever made.
Why did you move?
Just because it was the midst of the pandemic and schools were open here. I got 2 kids and we needed more space and, love San Diego. Spent my whole life there aside from about 5 years in San Francisco. But yeah, it's just different. We love it. It's great out here.
That's great. How old are your kids?
7. One just turned 7 on Sunday and the other one turned 15 last month.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude. Love it.
15, so yeah, 15 is a crazy age.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. Especially nowadays with TikTok and the internet, being able to, video game with your friends all across the country. It's cool because he was missing some of his friends in San Diego, but he's able to like play with them online and stuff and chat with them, FaceTime and all that stuff. It's cool.
It's great.
Yes, sir. So, well, we kind of got your story a bit in the first interview, but I'd love to kind of touch on it again. Part two, and then obviously talk about your solo album, which is awesome and so different from what you do in Courtship.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to talk to you about, working with Matthew of Wombats, and you got a lot of cool things on that EP or album, I should say.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah. So I guess we'll start off. I mean, just take me back to, I think it was 4:55 a.m. November 10th, 1994. Tell me about that moment in time.
Did I post that somewhere?
Yeah.
That's right.
You gave me the exact date and time. It was funny. So I listened back a little bit to get a refresher, and
that's really funny. So you probably know that you could probably go check my chart. I was doing CoStar the other day because you need your I'm talking about your astrology.
Oh, sure.
Because you put your time in, and then it shows you like your because I'm a Scorpio because I'm in November, but then you have like all your rising and everything.
Wait, what is this? Sorry, go back. Tell me, you were doing your what?
Your chart, CoStar. It's CoStar.
Oh, okay. I gotta look this up.
It's your astrology chart. It's a whole, it's a thing.
Okay.
The whole thing. Yeah, but that is when you said the time that you're born, because you have to know when and where, because all about where the stars were when you were born.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out, because I interviewed somebody that was way into numerology. Like they wrote a book on numerology, but they're also an artist. And she sent me this book, and I was like, my mind was blown. Like it just, that's the closest thing to like, I was like, damn, like this could be totally real. Crazy.
It's as if you feel it, it's real. What's your star sign? What month were you born?
September.
So you're Virgo.
It depends on I'm born September 23rd. So if you're looking at certain charts, I'm either a Virgo or a Libra. I'm either day 1 of Libra or the last day of Virgo. It's weird.
Oh, interesting. Right. Depending on the chart. You're a cusp. You're a cusp, babe.
Yeah, I'm a cusp. But I was also almost born on September 22nd. I was born at 12/12.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a real cusp, baby.
Yeah, like right on the cusp. Minutes away from a cusp.
Wow. You
But
live in
yeah, I gotta dive into this co-star astrology thing. So what, it gives you kind of like your life trajectory, or
No, I think it's a system through which one might find it helpful to learn a bit about their nature, and it sort of might give you some like a little bit of structure of things to be aware of strengths and potential weaknesses.
awesome. I'm gonna check it out. I just typed it in. I found the website or whatever.
Great. Co-star, do it.
Co-star. I'll spend time on that later. But
I digress. What was the question?
I just was saying, take me back to that time, like, because we started about, where you're born and raised, usually questions, but since we already got that out of you, I wanted to just like quickly note the fact that I knew exactly what time you're born.
It was extremely I think my dad definitely doesn't even know what time I was born. My mom probably doesn't remember.
That's funny. Yeah, you were so specific, even till the hospital. It was like Legacy Hospital or something.
That's right. Legacy Emmanuel. Wow. Very impressive.
But yeah, so I can't remember. Did you start off on piano? Like, how did you get into music? And do you come from a musical household? I don't know if I asked you that before.
Not a very music. My mom plays a little bit of piano. My dad's dad was a piano player. But I started on piano. But yeah, I was never good at any instrument really. Sort of just like the basics. But I'm very grateful to my mom who forced me to learn
Piano.
Yeah, when I was 6.
Okay, you're 6, and then I think you said you played guitar a few years after that, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, and you picked up. Why did you pick up guitar?
I think every kid wants to play guitar. It like feels cool and exciting.
Yeah, and
I remember that I just had this weird memory. I remember that I used to think it was so cool that I would have this like baseball bat, and I would like pretend that it was a guitar, and like in the mirror like play the baseball bat like a guitar.
That's awesome.
To Avril Lavigne.
Oh, was it to Avril Lavigne? I remember you telling me your first show was, I think, was Green Day.
Avril was my first show.
Oh, it was. Okay. You lied. When did you see Avril?
When I was 10 or 11.
Okay. Were you just a big fan of hers? I mean, she was awesome. Still is awesome.
Loved.
Absolutely. You saw her in Portland?
I saw her in Portland, yeah, at the Rose Garden.
That's awesome. Yeah, you told me that I think you saw Green Day and you waited outside for like 16 hours.
I did. Yeah. I did do that. That was a little bit later.
Okay. So Avril was the first show, but it's similar vein, I guess, of music, right? More of that pop punk. And that's kind of what you bring out in this new album, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, very much.
So is that something you've always still kind of been a fan of?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like so much of the music I grew up on was a lot of that stuff, and Blink and Green Day and My Chem and Weezer for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, you even dropped My Chem in the first song on that album.
That's right. I say we ref the My Chem.
I love it. Okay, so you learn guitar, and did you played in some bands, right, in high school or prior to high school?
Yeah, I did. We had some good names. We had we first had the Squirt Bottles.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then we had wait, what was after that? Oh, there's one I'm not forgetting. Oh, Blind Einstein. And then we had Meet Your Monster. And then we had Super Highway. And then we had I don't remember what was after that. Maybe that was it. Those might have been the high school bands. Oh, the Ecstatics.
Oh, that's a good one too. Ecstatics. Yeah. Sounds like a punk band from like the 80s.
It sounds very like ska.
Right. Oh yeah, or ska. Were they all like, did you have different members throughout the years, or was it?
Yeah, there was like some friends that like sort of stayed the same throughout it, and then some were different, but yeah.
And then you went to some summer camp for Berkeley too?
I did go to the Berkeley summer camp.
Well, how old are you at that point? Were you like getting ready to go to college?
No, when I went to the Berkeley summer camp, I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what brought you, or like what drew you to that, or how'd you find out about it?
I think that I had known about Berkeley as a school, and then I don't know. I don't remember specifically how I learned about it, but it sounded really cool. And it was like, it was my first like being away from home alone for like an extended period of time. So, like live in dorms in Boston when you're 15. It was fun.
How long is that camp usually?
It was like 5. It was called the 5 week. So it's 5 weeks.
Wow. So you're in Boston for over a month
Yeah,
doing this camp.
it was fun. It was really fun. I remember that was the first time where I realized like, whoa, like as a musician, like I'm not very good.
Oh, really? Just being around other kids from
Yeah, because it was like
around.
Shredder, like kids were so good, like insane at their instrument, like insane guitar players, insane drummers. Yeah.
Did you go there to play guitar, or were you writing songs at that point?
Singing or something. I don't remember.
Okay. Were you writing songs though with these other bands you were in? Were you
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah. Yeah.
okay? And then
Yeah.
so you go to this camp, and then did you not end up you didn't end up going to Berkeley? Was it
No.
just something that you were uninterested after the fact?
Um, I think I thought about it. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just didn't. College just didn't really make sense for me
Mm-hmm.
or
You
to
just
me at that time.
did you just know you wanted to do music at that point?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Okay. And
You
then
know,
how did you kind of start off? I mean, to go from Portland to, LA, or you I think you said you took some trips down there prior to like fully moving there. Was that like around the same time period, like high school time?
yeah, the first one I did is actually it's funny. This producer was at that 5-week thing who gave like a talk, and then I interned for him for like a few weeks, but it was like it wasn't it was it was a useful experience in that I learned a lot about certain things, but it wasn't something that made sense to keep doing. So that was quick, and that was when I was 16. And
And were
then
you learning how to produce for other artists? Like what were you learning in that
I think I
experience?
was learning how to vacuum floors.
Oh, okay.
No, but it was good in its own way. And then uh then I came back again for like a small period of time when I was like 18, and then I moved with my girlfriend at the time when I was 20.
Okay. And you met Tim Pagnotta in that time period too, right? At one
Him was
time,
actually him was that first time when I was 16.
he wasn't the producer that spoke to you, was
No,
he?
no.
Okay.
No, Tim's great.
Oh, dude, legend. I mean, it was one of my bands I'd love to go see. And
Oh,
then
that's cool,
obviously then
really.
he
That's
started
amazing.
producing, and then I didn't know he was a producer until Neon Trees came out.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh damn, this is the same dude. And like, yeah,
So
and they
good.
were massive, obviously. And then he's done so many massive projects since then.
Yeah.
So you met him on that first trip down there.
Yeah, it was crazy. The guy who actually, hold, wait, let me just respond to this text message so I can not have to do it later. 1 second.
Sure.
I'll be very brief. 1 second. Okay, great. Tim. Oh yeah. So my friend who was in my band at that time met Tim at an airport.
Oh
That was,
wow.
and then Tim was like, "You guys should come by the studio." So we did.
Yeah, damn, he was that cool. They was just like
Yeah,
cruise on by.
it was super cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And then did you show him the songs that you guys are working on?
yeah, yeah. And he was basically like, he was so helpful. I'm so grateful to him. He was like, he was so perfect in the way that he basically said like, keep going, but you suck.
But was he like, you guys have potential and you should continue
No,
going?
he was just encouraging. I think he was just like, you need to like really like work on stuff. And like, I even remember him like sitting down, like sort of showing us like the song could go like this. I was like, what? Like he was like just showing us that like what it meant to go deeply and make something the best it can be.
Mhm.
It really changed my life.
Wow. And were you
That
guys writing songs like more like that pop punk genre?
No, I think at that time we were very into like our favorite band in the world was the Wombats.
Oh, no way. How crazy. Now
Yeah,
you've got them on your record.
like favorite in the world, like obsessed with. Have I told you the Wombat
Wow.
story? The Wombat story.
No.
Basically, that was like this. That was right on the same time the Wombats played in Portland, and we hid. I can't remember how I. Oh, there was some sort of way whatever. And we ended up in the basement of the venue. It was a 21 plus show, so we couldn't go to the show.
Okay.
But we ended up in the basement of the venue talking to the opening band, and they let us hide down in the basement. with them, and then like snuck us up to see the Wombats.
No way.
Yeah. And
what
it was
album was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, they just put out the second one, Glitch.
Okay, the one with Let's Dance to Joy Division on it.
No, that's the first one. The second one is Techno Fan.
Oh, okay.
And like Tokyo and those songs.
Okay.
And I mean, we love, like, it's not like we like this band, like we loved them, like obsessed, like truly obsessed, number one band of the time.
That's crazy. So
yeah,
then you ended up meeting him like at that moment, or like
it's funny, I didn't meet Murph, I met the other guys.
Okay. And he must know this story, I would imagine.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
That's wild, man. So like,
I know, it's so awesome.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one, I was a huge Rancid fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I was in Dallas. My cousin, we went to Warped Tour, and she was like mingling with some dude at like a merch table or something. So they let us go to the little barbecue thing that she got us into this barbecue thing.
Was Tim back there?
Oh yeah. It was when Rancid played Warped Tour. This had to be, I don't know, 99 or something around that time. And he's cruising around on this little like 50 motorcycle thing. And he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, that's, Tim Armstrong. And he rolls up, and my cousin kind of waves him down, and he just stopped. And he was talking to me. And my best friend, his band was on their first tour. And it was like, I had the old Nokia cell phone, and I'm like, would you like talk to my buddy and just say hi to him? And he's like, sure. So I called him, and my friend's like, hello. And I'm like, I got somebody to talk to you. And then he grabs the phone. And he's like, what's up? It's Tim Armstrong from Rancid here. And just blew, my friend's mind was blown. I still have the Warped Tour ticket, and he signed his name with.
That's so sick.
Yeah, dude, it was insane. But
I hear he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, that was the only brief moment I ever had with him. But
that's so cool.
But it's crazy. It just reminds me of like, I was obsessed with them, and you were obsessed with the Wombats, and then having that experience to be downstairs and then go up and meet them or whatever.
So fucking cool.
That's so rad. That's so awesome. So at that moment, you must have been like, oh shit, like I really want to do this music thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think I'd felt that way since I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it was meeting Tim and like that moment that really made me like, all right, like, because basically then I went and wrote songs in my mom's and dad's basement for a year after that.
Okay. And then you took him down to LA at the time, or like what made you decide to go to LA? It was just like, this is where it's happening.
I can't remember why we were totally there. Why were we there? We did some sessions there. For whatever reason, we ended up like getting a house there for like 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then it was after that. Then we came back, and then I wrote songs again in the basement for a year. I can't remember. Sometimes I think I have I can't remember.
Yeah. It's so, yeah, I understand. I don't remember things either. Just like sometimes things popped in my head. Like I just remember that story about Tim Armstrong because of what you said.
I can't remember the chronology of any of this.
Right. But you eventually go down to LA. You said you moved there with your girlfriend and you joined a band.
Yeah. So there was a band called Blood Boy that
Mm-hmm.
it was my friend Lexi's band. And then I played guitar in that band. And then Micah was playing keyboard.
That's when you guys met, and then you started Courtship after that.
Yes.
Okay. And then so once Courtship's going, you've just done, that was kind of the thing, right? I mean, obviously your main focus that you guys have been successful, and and then so when were you always writing songs on the side, or like kind of how does this project that you like definitely. that are just kind of away from the style that you guys do with Courtship?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just sort of like, Micah and I write songs together, and it was just so fun and awesome. And then also I have to like also just write some songs on my own.
Okay.
Yeah. That just sort of like, it's like a different process. And then I think it's sort of stacked up to the point where it just felt like, I really want to, I really need to share this. And I was actually really scared to for a while.
Oh, really? Why do you say that? Was it just because it was so different?
No, I think it was the ego. I think it was about, like the fear that no one would care or people would hate it. I actually think I was more afraid that no one would give a shit than that people would hate it.
Oh, okay. Because you had an EP out, right? You put an EP out.
Yeah, but before that, yeah.
Oh.
Like before putting anything out, like ever of my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of, yeah.
And then what gave you the courage to end up doing it?
I'm reading this Rick Rubin book right now. Have you read it yet?
No, I have it in my Audible thing. I haven't started.
I'm listening to the Audible. It's great. You should listen.
Okay. I will.
I mean,
I have it all. I have it queued, but I haven't started it.
Okay, great. If you, I mean, if it's, yeah, if you like it, keep listening. I think it's amazing.
I'll listen to the whole thing. I love that guy and his story. It's crazy.
Amazing. He's amazing. And in it, he says, essentially, he basically just makes the distinction that like an artist's desire to share has to be to create and share. An artist's desire to create and share has to be greater than their fear to protect themselves.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's like once you make it and no one hears it, then it just sits, right? It sits on your hard drive or it sits.
Yeah, which by the way, I think was like I think it's a huge lesson that I learned even with the album I just made, is like I waited way too long to put it out. Like those songs are super old.
Oh, they are
super old. Yeah, they're old. Most of them are really old. So I think I just sort of like, even now I'm disconnected from it in a certain way. I think it's sick. Like I think the record's
I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I appreciate it. No, I'm really proud of it. And I think it's fun. But I think for me, it's kind of like next time I'll never wait that long again.
Okay.
Like I don't think I should be waiting more than 6 months. Like a song gets made, like it should come out because it gets stuck. It's got to just go.
Do you feel the same way with Courtship songs?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like it more when we just put stuff out rather than when we wait on it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Because you get sick of it. Or you lose that like excitement about it. It like the thing itself has like an energy and it wants to like just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like even with the first EP that you put out in 2020, was that something that you had released like pre-pandemic, or were those songs that you had? And like, I mean, how long? I mean, how old are the songs that you're talking about, even on the album?
Let me look. I'm peeking. Okay, let's see. On the EP, there's a song on it called "What If," which I had forever.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the first song you ever released. At least
that's the first song I put out. Yeah. And then the song called "The Fucked Up Things About Us." That was quick. That one I like wrote, recorded, and put out quickly.
Okay.
And it's funny because that's the song that sort of like did the best.
So going back to your idea of just release it.
Yeah, because I think that song, like whatever reason, that song had like a certain energy to it. Like it just sort of like, you know, by the way, it's not like it did that well, but it's like, you know, whatever. Like it was like it created some sort of momentum for it.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So just like not sitting on shit. Hard drive is a bad place for a song.
Was that like you said these songs that had just came out on the album are old? Like were they older than the songs on that EP?
Some of them are.
Oh wow.
Let's see. Let's look at it. Yeah, so the song with Murph we wrote 5 or 6 years ago.
Really? You wrote it with him that time, or you got him to join after the fact?
No, we wrote it together.
Oh wow. Okay, so you've had a relationship with him for a while then.
Yeah, because that's what's crazy is that that's how I ended up actually like later meeting him. Is this publisher that we were talking to was like, do you want to write a song with this band called the Wombats?
You're like, oh my god.
I was like, yeah.
Did you try to play it cool? Were you like,
no? I told him immediately.
You're like, yes, of course.
I was like, dude, like, I'm a huge fan.
That's awesome.
And Wombats took us on our first tour, Courtship.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they were fans of you as well, it sounds like.
I think I just begged them to have us open for them.
Well, so that was that song's from 5 years ago. And so how did you decide on the ones for this record versus the EP?
Well, I don't know. I think just for whatever reason, those EP ones just happened then. And then, you know, it's like there's like a collection of songs and they sort of just like come together and it ended up it wasn't like intentional really.
Okay.
It sort of just ended up that way.
And then why did you, I mean, are all the songs really old or are there a couple that are new?
No,
like, oh, let's pull. Okay,
not
okay.
all of them.
So you're working on newer songs, and you're like, oh, okay, I can pull some of these old ones out, and we'll make an album.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Like I think this record was a bit of like an like a what's the word? It's like a clearing. It's like a lot of old songs. I mean, one of them I wrote when I was 18
Really? Which one was that?
called I Hate Me, I Don't Anymore, but I did when I wrote this song.
Wow. So 18 years old is when you wrote that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I always loved it. So it's like, but I just never like, I never put it out like for whatever reason, which I think had a lot to do with fear.
Right.
I mean,
And
it had all to do with fear.
And once you finally start pulling some of these songs out, they must have not all been, that's not a recording from when you're 18.
No.
Or
it's not.
yeah. So you just had the songs.
I re-recorded that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must have, like, when you went into the studio to record the album, was it like you had all the songs together and you're like, okay, some of these are old, but some of these are new, and let's just kind of put it all together? Like, when did you
kind of, sort of. I mean, a lot of the songs like came from a lot of the songs I did like pretty like in-depth demos of, and sort of like spent like probably a year like figuring out like what the sort of like production was going to be of it, sort of cracking the code of what I felt like it was going to be, which I feel like I sort of figured out on a song I put out called Too Much. And then I worked with this guy named Sam Pura, who's an awesome producer, and we finished everything.
But Too Much isn't on the album, right? It was just a single dig.
I think it should have been, but whatever. So
you put that out, and you kind of got like an idea of what you want to do for an album at that point. Like, can you explain that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think that song was like through that song I like realized what the like sonic zone was supposed to be for the record.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And so when do you start then going in and working on the album?
When did I work with Sam? I think it was my memory's so fucking bad. It's crazy. I can't remember years. I think it was 2 years ago that we started it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like April 2 years ago.
So you were working on this album like while working on Courtship stuff as well.
Yeah.
Is it hard to like separate the two? I mean, to like have your mindset on like, okay, I'm gonna go in and work on the album for my solo stuff versus, okay, let's go in together and work on the Courtship stuff.
I think it'd be hard to do both in the same day. But I think no, I just think it's like just a different sort of slightly kind of different process. But no, it's not hard to do the same. I don't think there's just like a time reality,
Right. And like, instead of going into, doing the Courtship thing, but then kind of refocusing on something totally different. Right. But you usually don't do it that way. Yeah.
No, you mean like do a Courtship record, then like pause, then do something else, then like come back.
Yeah, like come back, like, but kind of jump back and forth.
I mean, perhaps that would have been the smarter way to do it. I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't happen that way.
But you don't feel like you might bleed influences over, or is it pretty easy to kind of like draw a line?
Oh, I don't think about it.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I mean, because also, I mean, I think Mike is such a great filter for that, because he knows what he likes, and I think that like it filters any sort of too much of a similarity out.
Okay, right on. And so when you put you find, you're talking about courage to put the album out, but after the EP and you had some songs out, like now it's the album, this album comes out and it's like, you've kind of have you kind of put to bay that like fear of releasing music and all that stuff?
I've definitely confronted it.
Okay.
Confronted it. I don't think the fear is about releasing music anymore. I think the fear now is about so actually, hold on. First, to answer your question, yeah, I think there's a massive fear overcome, right? Because the fear is that like I'm gonna make something then no one's going to give a shit. And by the way, it's all just like, by the way, it's also all relative. So, which is so important about, I think what's been great about this album, sorry, there's like a long-winded way of saying this, is that
this is perfect.
It's really made me clarify like what my intention for like this project is.
Okay.
And my intention for this project is I have to make music and I have to make songs. And my job is to make them and put them into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it. Just write them and put them out. And then
that's it. Yeah. And
like went over the hump of do people give a shit? I'm kind of worried about
my job isn't to have people give a shit. That's not what this is. And if they do, that's awesome. That's fucking amazing. I mean, anyone who listens to this record is crazy. So but I think it's really good to look at, right? Because I have a lot of friends who fear this too. We look at this record, like not a lot of people are listening to this record that is put out. I worked super hard on it. So I could choose to be like, fuck, this was a failure. It's not even close to that. It would only be a failure if I decided I need to get 10 million streams in like the first week. You know what I mean? So I think it helped me get really clear about why I'm doing it. And then once I'm clear about it, the process is so much more joyful. It takes so much of the suffering away.
And the reason to do it is because that's what you do. You write songs and you release.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's such a great perspective.
For this, by the way, for this. And then, like I mostly produce. We have Courtship too. And like, those are more like my job, which I love. I love my job. But this project specifically is about, I've become clear that it's about the music. It's about doing it and putting it and sharing it.
Yeah, I love that because you did what you wanted to do, and it's not a failure if you love the songs that you wrote and you love how they turned out, right? I mean,
exactly.
Maybe if you're like, oh, I shouldn't have released this because the mix sucks, or I should have done this differently, then you might be upset with yourself. But when it comes to like numbers and who really gives a shit?
Well, some people might. I mean, I did. There's still something in me that does. Obviously, I think there's something in every artist that does give a shit. But like, well,
yeah, I guess,
but not letting it be the most important thing, and not letting it not letting it stop the process. That's what's really vital.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because if you put out a song, even if you're a young artist, right? If you put a song out and it does 100 streams, and then the next one does 1,000, like who knows what the next one, if you're building and building versus at one point just giving up, I mean, who knows what you would have done.
Yeah, exactly. And realizing that like it's not, I don't know, I don't know, maybe some kid will find this record in a year and will fucking like, love it so much it'll be their favorite record. That'd be insane.
Right.
Like, that'd be so sick. If one kid, this was their favorite record, that'd be insane. That'd be so
yeah. I mean, you'll even see that with some songs now, especially with like TikTok. This song that wasn't like a real hit will come back, and it's like, now it's creating careers for bands. Like, oh, I released a song 5 years ago, and now it's doing 1 million streams a day for some odd reason.
Cool. Yeah, it's so cool.
It's wild. Are you going to tour the album?
One of my friends has to take me out. We'll see.
Okay. What would you do? Would you open up for Courtship?
I don't think
or that'd be too much.
I think it's too much. I think it'd be too much. Yeah.
That's awesome. You said you're also producing. Are you producing for other people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How is that going? How do you like that?
Awesome. Love. Yeah, I've been loving. Definitely been like my main focus over the last year.
Are you working with any bands that
aside from my project?
Sure. And do people just approach you and they want to, how do you decide on what bands you're going to work with?
It's happened really naturally. It's been really amazing. There's been just a few different artists who have sort of showed up in my studio one way or another, and we've really clicked musically, and it's definitely my calling for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely I sort of feel like it's like it's like the combination of everything that I've ever worked on. And it's like that's what the job of being a producer is. It's like everything.
Yeah, because you have to help songwrite, right, and you organize the songs, and figure out what's gonna work.
Yeah. And so much of it too also is about like helping an artist like really like realize their vision and what they want to say.
Mhm.
And I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know what the fear is that stands in the way of that.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. I cut
No,
you off.
you go ahead. That's it.
I was gonna say, like, you're kind of like paying it forward, kind of like how Tim Pagnotta did with
Totally.
I think that's so awesome that you're doing that.
Totally. Yeah.
Is there a band or somebody that you've worked with recently that you're like, these guys are gonna be huge?
Yes, there are. Uh, there's a few. There's something that's coming out really soon. Is this kid I'm doing his record called his name is Ryan Woods, and he's fucking incredible, so talented, so fucking talented.
Exciting.
And what else can I tell you about? There's a girl I just produced a song for her. Jules is Dead. It just came out.
Oh, cool. That's her artist name. Jules is Dead.
Yeah, she's great. Very cool. Very much.
Oh, really? Awesome. I'll have to check that out as well.
And there's a bunch of other stuff coming out soonish. But yeah.
What about Courtship stuff? Are you working on music with that?
Well, we've been on a little break. I just have a sense that we're gonna get pulled back into the studio sometime soon.
Ah, okay. I love it. Well, thank you, Eli, for kind of following up and hanging out with me again. This has been awesome.
Yeah, bro. So good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Again, dude, I love the record. I think the album's awesome. I love what you're doing. I grew up on pop punk and that style, and it's like I love to hear kind of fresh versions of some of that
Oh,
that genre. It's awesome.
Oh, I really appreciate it, dog. Thank you so much.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's awesome. I love what you're doing. I have one more question. I asked it to you last time, but I'm going to ask it again. If you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh yeah, I think if you're an aspiring artist, so we're not talking about like having a career, right? We're just talking about being an artist.
Yeah, artist, musician, whatever it may be.
Yeah, then realize that your duty is to make art, and it has nothing to do with your feelings. Like, obviously your feelings will go into the art and the expression you have, but whether or not you should do it, or whether or not other people think you should do it, or whether or not, like, it's literally irrelevant. The universe has told you your job, which is to make art. And this is exactly what I'm saying to myself. I mean, I'm not, I'm like telling myself this. It's like, we don't know how what we do affects people. So, and it's actually not really our business. So you just got to do what you do. And then the career aspect of it, it's like a different thing, but I feel like that's like a different question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a different mindset. If you've maybe established something and you want to know how to further it on.
It's additional, and it's a deeper, and there's a whole other layers to it. But everything comes from that place of the question you asked is about being an artist. And if you're supposed to be an artist, then you're supposed to be an artist.
Is there any? I'm going to ask a follow-up question now because now I'm curious. Is there anything that you learned along the way that you like? Was there? I guess the Tim Pagnotta moment would have been one of them. Like that you wish you would have known earlier that you have learned since then.
Yeah, like so much.
Okay.
No, I don't wish that I would have known because I see that I've learned everything I needed to learn when I needed to learn it.
Right.
But like things that I've learned. Oh my God. Oh my God. whatever I was ever afraid of was not really scary.
I like that.
It's just not.
Relatable.